Hey y'all, I lost one of my two best friends on the 27th of December 2025. Very, very unexpected. Very unexpected. I'd spoken to her about 1:10 that afternoon, and she had a stroke at 9 p.m. that day. There was no goodbye. There was no see you later or I feel ill. She didn't share with me that she was unwell, or there was nothing that would have prepared me. Nothing would have prepared me for the news that I got that she'd passed. And my heart is broken. My heart is absolutely broken. She was loving. She was a kind person. Out of respect for her family, I'm not going to say her name. But she'd been one of the biggest supporters I've had in my life. She's someone I shared all the pain I've experienced in life. And today, I'm just really feeling grief. I have decided to be sober, and I made this decision just before Christmas. I mean, it's something I just really felt I needed to do and desperately wanted to be sober. And so I've spent the Christmas and New Year sober. I'm on day 20, and I'm really proud of being on day 20. Because I've always functioned with alcohol. Now, when I first started drinking, I would say I was a drunk. I would drink until I black out. The quantities may not have been that bad, but because I was still quite new to drinking, I could black out on 3-4 cans of beer, and not know what I did the next day. Over the years, my body's developed a resistance to it, so that I'd upped from maybe having 4 cans of beer. I left beer, started drinking wine. I would have 1-2 glasses of wine and sort of be drunk, and it moved to a point where I can now drink a bottle of wine a day, wake up and go to work the next day, not be sick. Sometimes maybe if I've had it very late in the evening, I might feel hungover, but mostly when I've had a drink, I would just wake up, sort of get through the day, and then end of the day I would be coming back down home from work, and I'd always pass by a supermarket and buy a bottle of wine and take it and sort of go home and have a drink. It was something I looked forward to. So no matter how bad the day was, my job is a stressful job. No matter how bad that day is, no matter how much stress I've had, when I'd get home, I knew I was going to have this glass of wine which would comfort me, which was like a friend. And I hate to think that I'd become so warped in my mind around issues of alcohol that I felt like alcohol was a friend. Only people that struggle with alcohol will probably be able to agree and vouch with me that is how you do feel. So typically come home, sit, have a glass of wine, watch TV, unwind, sleep. Not doing that at the moment. I'm not doing that at the moment. So I'm coming home and I'm staying sober. So whatever's affected me in the day will continue to be on my mind. And since my friend's gone, I'm really struggling with my thoughts around her sudden passing. I've lost my mom and my dad, and I've lost other friends and family, and I always used alcohol to help me through that grief. So alcohol was like my go-to thing. So I'd be upset, get a bottle of wine, and after a couple, 1-2 bottles, you feel slightly better. Still go through the grieving process, but a lot better. This is the first time in my life that I'm going to be dealing with grief totally sober. And today felt quite heavy. I've got this desire. I'm just like longing for wine, like so desperately wishing for a glass of wine. Just sort of, it would just feel. And the crazy thing is that I can actually taste the wine. Like, I'm like thinking of it now, and I know that taste so well that a glass would have just been like medicine right now. I've just taken it and felt good about it. But I've decided I am not going to do that. And so as I've been going through this process of sobriety, it is something that I just want to say. When people put these dates, you hear someone say something like, oh, I'm 225 days sober, and you get the ones that'll put, I'm like 3,955 days sober. They're talking about 15 years sober, but they talk about it in days. I used to look at it and think, what are you doing? Why are you counting so many days? Why don't you say 1 year, 2 years? But now I'm on this journey, and this is not the first time I've done this, guys. This is not my first time. I've fallen along the way. I have started the journey, gone weeks without drinking, and then I've just, sort of given in. Or I've started the journey to sobriety, and then I'm taking non-alcoholic beverages, wine, beer, whatever, 0% alcohol on the weekends. But then you have that taste. It's a familiar taste. It's not as strong as it is when there's alcohol, but it's a familiar taste. And then you're waiting for that kick, and the kick doesn't come. So eventually I'm tempted to go out and get the real thing. So this time I've decided I'm doing it cold turkey. I'm not going to do the non-alcoholic beer. I'm not going to do 0% wine or anything of that sort. I'm literally just going to try and go cold turkey. And because I'm doing it that way, the days matter, which is why I'm on day 20. I never ever thought I had a space in my brain for alcohol. But guess what, guys? I do. We all do have a space in our brain for our vice, whatever that vice is. So my day would mean I could get up to 5 o'clock without thinking of it, and then 5 o'clock come, and then I think of my alcohol, and then I want it. Now I'm waking up, because I know I'm not going to get to 5 o'clock and think about it. I start to think of it as soon as I wake up. And so I'm having to plan what I'm doing in advance. I've got to plan my day. So I'll go out, work, pick up my daughter, come home, cook, go and, sort of go and lie down and sit down and watch TV or whatever. But now I'm like, I've got a glass of water on the side, or a bottle of water. I'm drinking 10 bottles of water between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. Like, for real, guys, I'm like going through water. And I think what it is when you have a glass of wine, you sip it and you put it down, and the wine taste is not something that you can drink like you would water. And so, because I've always been drinking at that time of the night, and it's sort of like a routine, when I'm drinking the water, I'm not getting the kick that you get when you drink alcohol. So because I'm not getting that kick, I tend to just keep drinking, and I'm really going through a lot of water. I'm feeling really positive about it as well, guys. I'm really feeling good about drinking so much water. Like doctor's advice is 2 bottles. Guess what? Linda's doing more than that. Woohoo! But anyway, I am so, obsessed with the days, because I've got to get to the night. And then when I get to the night and I'm in bed, and I'm like in bed, and I'm like, oh, I've done it. I've done another day. Yay. So whoop, whoop, whoop. And I feel so good about it. So day 20, but day 20 is hard for me today because I'm also going through the grieving process. I loved my friend, and unfortunately I wasn't able to attend a funeral because she was buried back in Africa. I have so many questions, and I know my strength at this time for both these journeys, because they're both quite difficult. Letting go of alcohol is a challenge in itself, and losing my friend, another challenge. But I think where my strength comes from is from God. My strength is coming from Jesus, the friend that sticks closer than a brother. Jesus is my pillar during this process. And I've just got to say how grateful I am to have, to serve a God who cares even about the small things. God cares about me trying not to have alcohol. God cares about me grieving at the same time. And I had a moment earlier where I just really got very emotional. And the first thought that came was, just have a bottle of wine. You're grieving. It's okay. This is just a tough time for you. But within the same breath, I just came across a short on YouTube where this girl was talking about the writer of the song, What a Friend We Have in Jesus. And that just encouraged me. It just reminded me that I do have a friend in Jesus, that I don't have to battle this sobriety on my own, that I can call on Jesus and that he can help me. And guys, day 20 is an achievement for someone that has been drinking every single day. Day 20 is an achievement for someone who deals with their crises and their problems with alcohol. Day 20 is a person who deals with loneliness by having alcohol. Day 20 for a person who is a single parent, sole provider, not only of her home here in the UK, but also of her family in Africa and so many other people. Day 20, no alcohol, is a breakthrough, is amazing. It is something to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate, but I'm not going to have alcohol tonight. I am going to celebrate, definitely going to celebrate day 20. And I'm going to come back and share my journey some more. And I'll probably be calling day 367 like other people do, because I totally understand now why they count the days. Every day matters, guys. Every day matters. I just want to encourage anyone that's struggling with the alcohol. Try it, guys. I feel good within myself. I feel positive. I feel like I'm an achiever. I feel like I'm winning. And I want to encourage anyone and everyone that is struggling with anything. If you're struggling with grief, call on Jesus. If you're struggling with alcohol, call on Jesus. If you're struggling with mental health, call on Jesus. If you're struggling with homelessness, call on Jesus. If you're struggling with looking for a job and needing a job, call on Jesus. Anything that we have that we're struggling with today, I just want to encourage you to call on Jesus. He is there. He is real and he's faithful. He's carried me these 20 days and he's carried me today when I was really struggling, and that's because he loves us. Jesus loves us, and he hears our prayers and he will set us free. I'm 20 days sober, guys. People that know me would probably be impressed with that because they know that I have a drink every day. But I just want to say to anyone that is battling, please reach out if you'd like to. I'd be happy to share the tips on how I'm staying alcohol free at the moment. I'd be glad to have a conversation, to please comment in the chats. I'm definitely going to respond and have a conversation with you about it. But 20 days sober, guys, and I feel good. So Tulu Talks, speak to you soon.